its management, or advertisers. Vision Communications Incorporated is not responsible for the validity or accuracy of information presented on this program. Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Shealy-Sorin. Get the health answers you need from the creator of holistic medicine and the 2020 Holistic Doctor of the Year. To be a part of the show, call 417-447-1777. Wellness Wednesday. Now, here are your hosts, Dr. Norm Shealy and Dr. Shealy-Sorin.
And hello. It's almost New Year's. The holidays are in season, and I want to give absolute love and light to everybody out there. Send the best healing, best intentions, and the best for the new year coming up. We all know where we've come from in the last couple of years, I should say, at least. And there's a long way to get back to a better place. But there's always hope, there's always light, and there's always love. And today's conversation is all about how to be the light in this interesting, crazy world. I just want to talk about a couple of things. What does light mean? Light and love. Light is energy. Everything is energy. Then again, if you want to think about energy, is physical things are energy. It's just stored energy in a certain way. Quantum physics, quantum world is quite interesting in that way. I've read a number of books about those things. Even something like torsion fields. And I bring this apple, for example, to be eaten later. They say an apple a day keeps a doctor away. I have no intention of dealing with a conventional system. So the shape of the apple is actually the shape of the torsion fields. And for those who know what that means, is there are concepts in modern physics in the world, in society, that are starting to become familiar and starting to become recognizable, that are actually have been known for millennia. And Eastern traditions, Western traditions, basically going back to thousands of years ago. Lights and love. And that's what it's all about. Nikola Tesla had a very wonderful saying. If you want to understand the universe, I'll read this out loud. Think of energy, frequency, and vibration. If you want to understand the universe, think of energy, frequency, and vibration. What does that mean? In other words, before something becomes a matter, including this apple or this pen or this stethoscope for any matter, everything was energy. It was thought, it was intention, and then energy converted materials into other materials, organized into matter, and including torsion fields and other aspects. Bottom line, there's a pattern. There's a pattern to life. There's a pattern to physical. There's a pattern to emotional, mental, and there's a pattern to the spiritual. And on that note, I would like to mention this once again for the holiday season, holy days. Every day is holy. Is man created in the image and likeness of God. And that is a pattern, that is an inheritance, that is a gift that we as humans have received. And that is a gift that we have largely ignored or misunderstood or completely thrown away. And this is the best time for this holiday season, when the forces of shadow, fear, darkness, whatever you want to call that, are probably at their highest, or it seems to be. This is when light, love, hope has to shine, has to come through. And it all starts from within. I would like to continue and come back to the original concept of what is holism. And I'll say this again, and I'll probably say it every single show and every single chance that I get. Mind, body, spirit. Interesting statement, stands for holistic approach, so to speak, but the order is wrong. Spirit, soul, mind, body. Mind meaning feelings, emotions, mental processes, how we understand and process the world. And that is the order of how things happen. That is how life actually happens as well. Energy, creation. Let's go back from the original creation, from the I'm not here to tell people what to believe, how to believe, but there is a blueprint. There's a blueprint to every living and inorganic organism out there, so to speak. There's a blueprint for the rocks. There's a blueprint for the crystals, for the materials, even for the plastic. There's a blueprint for every material matter that has ever been created. And if that blueprint is being followed and understood, that material matter can be improved or can be optimized, or it, at the very least, it can function according to its original blueprint. If you don't understand what the original blueprint is all about, for example, if you have a nice car and you don't understand and you don't know, or you refuse or to take care of it properly according to the blueprint, according to the creator's directions, instructions, what's going to happen? If you put the wrong fluids into the wrong compartments, even the best of cars or the house or whatever it is that we have physically, materially, but also including the human body and every cell in our organism. There's trillions of cells that we're made of. If we don't follow the original creation, original concept, guess what? It's not going to function according to the original concept. And there is nothing in our technocratic society where man wants to play God, so to speak. And when I say man, I don't mean man as a male. Humankind tends to play God, literally. And I'll say a few things on the order of medicines and conventional and otherwise. The focus has been on the physical, on the material. And if the focus continues to be on the material and the physical, which is what happens in conventional medical care, and nothing wrong with it if it's acute medical. I've recently sent a couple of people to the emergency room to be checked out, and that's the right thing to do when the acute complicated situation comes up and you need to have it checked out in the proper setting with the proper tools. I still work emergency room medicine. And there are patterns of acute and life-threatening illness and disease that need to be recognized and dealt with promptly, as soon as possible, without delay. If you do that, there's better outcomes. But if you understand the concept and the idea of what the original creation and the blueprint and who we are, it is, you don't have to get complicated. You don't have to have the issues of chronic medical care, chronic illness, chronic medications, unnecessary surgeries, lots of different things. Just like this apple, just like this creation, original blueprint has everything that it needs right from the origin, and it provides what we need naturally. We can also take care of ourselves, and we can take care of others. So the topic of today's conversation is how to be the light for yourself and how to shine for others. But the disclaimer here is, it is not possible to give what you don't have. If you don't have the gift of health, you cannot give the gift of health. If you don't have the gift of light, love, positivity, encouragement, positive outlook, positive emotions and feelings, you'll be able to give only what you have. And if you don't have positive, well, there is the whole duality to humankind, humanity. And if it's not in the positive, it's going to be in the negative. And again, there is nothing wrong with that. It's just a consequence of actions and consequences. Natural laws. Let's talk about personal hell and personal heaven. Heaven is generally associated with light, love. Now, hell is generally been associated the way I've heard it with eternal fire, suffering, pain. But let's think about this in the human earth domain, right here where we are. All the living people, millions of people going, working, walking around, being not in their best place. So what does it mean to be in hell, in your personal hell? Well, I'm going to ask a question. How many people out there are truly happy? How many people are truly healthy? How many can say that they're doing what they love, doing what they want to do, what they choose to do? How many people can say that they love their life, their environment? How many people are, free of medicines, free of unnecessary surgeries, free of the conventional healthcare system? How many people are satisfied? Now, it's not a question of how long a person lives. It's a question of the quality of life. Now, Dr. Shealy and I have talked about the longevity, and I personally am still considering that 150 is a possibility under the right conditions. 150 years of age, I should say. But in order to get there, you have to have the right components. And so let's talk about the components of essential components of human being that allows you, that basically makes it possible to be the light and to be happy, to enjoy the holidays, but also every single day, because every day is a holy day. There is not a day that goes by, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's not an hour, there's not a second that is not holy. Everything that we have comes from divinity. And so the gift of divinity is something we either accept, understand, and utilize, share, and give freely, or it's something that we're not aware of and we don't have. But it's in itself is a misnomer, is a misunderstanding, because everything that a human being ever needed is already within us, including soul, spirit, mental and emotional, and then physical. And if we correct the patterns, those things that are not proper for the blueprint of how we are created, how we are organized, well, again, actions and consequences. Change the actions, change the consequences. What does it mean to be the light? Ever come across people who are basically shining? It's you could literally feel their energy, happiness, feel their presence, and those are the people that you want to be around with. And if you're the person of that nature, you always have, or you generally tend to have, lots of good company. People want to be around you. Your things are going as well as possibly can in whatever field of personal, professional, or otherwise. Distinctions and characteristics of people who are successful, people who are light, and people who are love. Let's start talking about feelings and emotions, because that is even more important than the physical foundations. Without proper positive mental emotional state, it is not possible. It is simply impossible to have good lifestyle. It's impossible to follow through on things that, well, basically a person is not willing to go through with. There's a question of capacity. Can you physically do something? And then there's a question of, are you willing to do something? And one of my favorite questions is, when I see people in the clinic, on telephone or in person, sometimes Skype, is, do you feel that you are worthy? Do you feel that you're worthy of healing? Do you feel that you're worthy of feeling good, feeling okay, being your absolute best? And about 50% of the time, the answer is, I'm not sure, or no. Those are the people who are depressed, anxious, fear, anxiety, guilt, anger, frustration. And that becomes a lifelong pattern if it's not fixed. And our current society is actually encouraging that kind of feelings. Fear, guilt, anxiety, depression. Everything that's happening, between the mandates to all sorts of regulations and rules and things that are basically pushing everybody's buttons, no matter what side you're on. And by the way, ultimately there is no side, there's just humanity. So we all have just come together and remember, we are human beings and everybody shines a light in their own way. And only when all the lights come together as a kind of big picture, all the pixels will combine, and then you have the ultimate holism. When that happens, society heals. When that happens, humanity heals. But in the meantime, every single pixel, every single individual, every single soul, and I say this with all due seriousness and diligence, every single soul, because when I'm talking to you out there, I'm talking to you on a soul-to-soul level, on a heart-to-heart level, light-to-light level, because I know that everything that I have, everything that we have written about, energy and love and capacity to heal, is in every single human being. And that's what we're all about. We want to bring back what is naturally yours. There's nothing you need to do you haven't had from the beginning. It's just a question of recycling things that are not useful anymore, recycling the patterns that are not serving, creating new patterns, and creating patterns that are consistent with you being a light, love, and sentient being made in the image and likeness of the Creator himself. Now, humans interestingly enough, get to co-create. And this is where this comes in with the personal heaven and hell. And now, and again, I'm not here to tell people what to believe, how to believe, but what I see in my clinical practice, as well as with family, with friends, and personally. I am my own laboratory, so to speak, when it comes to experiencing and going through different things. Is every challenge, everything that happens, everything that pushes us, makes it difficult, whether it's health, mental, emotional, family, work, government, society, is an opportunity to go within and see how bright can we shine, to expose the shadow, the darkness, to be the light for ourselves, for our families, for our community, and for our world, our universe. And if nothing else, from within ourselves. There is a distinction between doing and being. A lot of us are focused on doing things, providing for the family. That's important, essential. I'm not going to say anything about that. Uh, Providing for ourselves, taking care of things, gifts for the holidays, just whatever is called for, whatever is needed in life. But we cannot forget the simple thing. There's nothing that we do that can well, nothing that we do can reflect things that can. I got to rephrase that. This was a little confusing. We can only do what we are. Be, then do. Thank you. I apologize for the earlier confusion, but I do want to make a very strong clinical distinction here. Not clinical, but life distinction. You have to first be. And if you're the light, if you're love, if you do things for yourself, and I'll mention the details and I'll mention some things that are going to help you on that path, you will do all the right things without effort. You'll partake in the lifestyle, you'll be of service to others, and you will feel good. You'll feel all right, and you'll be taking care and doing what you came here to do, your purpose, your intention. And what's more important than living your purpose, than having a life full of meaning? Actually, there was a really good book that I really, really like by Viktor Frankl. He is the author of logotherapy, creator of logotherapy, and author of Man's Search for Meaning. Wonderful book. Went through concentration camp back in the Nazi times, when over 6 million people were destroyed. Well, more than that. And he actually wrote about the freedom of choice in between the most difficult circumstances. This is what we're talking about, a freedom of choice. And if this conversation, if this radio show can spark that light, can make you think, or can activate something within, I'm not giving you anything. I'm not saying anything that you don't already have. Everything that you ever need is already within you. It's just a question of recognizing, remembering, and being, and then doing what you're meant to be. What are some of the factors related to the physical, mental, emotional, and otherwise hell versus heaven? Let's talk about hell, mental-wise. As we said, guilt, anxiety, fear, depression, among some of the worst things that people can do to themselves, allow. And there's plenty of forces, plenty of stressors in society that push us that way, but it doesn't have to become part of our reality. It doesn't have to become part of your life if you choose not to accept it. Yes, it's out there, but that can also be the opportunity to stand up, to go to expand your mind, to grow, and to take every challenge as a step towards even better, stronger, holy. So what are some of the ways to deal with the mental and emotional stressors? Autogenic training. Let me actually walk through it really briefly. If you were to take a deep breath, and I prefer if you close your eyes, if you can. If you're driving, please pay attention to the road. Save this program and listen to it later. Taking a deep breath, collect, and then breathing out, release anything that doesn't belong to you, any stress, any tension, and continue with easy, deep breaths. Now, as we keep going, again, taking a deep breath in, my arms and legs are heavy and warm. And if you feel anything but warmth and heaviness in your arms and legs, Simply let it be. That's your parasympathetic relaxation nervous system stepping in. Next phrase is my heartbeat. Focus on your heartbeat. Now, again, if you're in a place where you're in potential physical danger or concern, well, first of all, you shouldn't be listening to this program as we're talking about right now. You should be taking care of that. But if you're not in danger, relax. Allow that heartbeat, allow that beautiful, beautiful creation, beautiful mechanism that pumps blood throughout day and night for years, decades of our life. My heartbeat is calm and regular. Next, my breathing is free and easy. Breathing is so essential, yet very few of us are aware of what we're doing. Biofeedback, awareness, action. My abdomen is warm, greatest chemical factor in the world. My forehead is cool. The sky could be falling, but I am okay. And last but not least, my ever conscious mind is quiet and still. That is the place where you're open. That is the place where the physical vessel, the mental and emotional vessel, so to speak, all of those things that we have in this human experience, and of course, we're spirit, we're soul, that's something that we have to remember who we are and clear the obstacles, just simply get out of the way. But this exercise, autogenic training, simple. And we give this to every person who comes to us for a visit, whether it's telephone or otherwise, and it's available on the website, realholisticdoc.com. You train this for 2 to 3 months. You get into a place where it happens automatically. You don't have to even listen to it. You just clicks in when you need, and your body will recognize when something is right and something is wrong. The body is an amazing mechanism. So that is one of the ways to go. And otherwise, the next step after the autogenic training is then to go to biogenics. Biogenics is a mechanism, it's a system with over 68 various exercises for anyone with a restless mind or anyone who's been affected by society, stress, news, culture, anything that doesn't belong to you. If you're not feeling well, make sure you please do everything that you are. Biogenics is a wonderful program for self-management, self-relaxation, self-resetting of the nervous system, of the autonomic central, but also feelings, emotions, and biofeedback, getting your body back to where it needs to be and getting the right things back into your body. Of course, there's lifestyle on the physical level, exercise, nutrition, sleep, weight, body mass index, eating your veggies, stress management. That's what we talked about. Lots of different things, but very little happens without the presence of the brain bucket, without a decision, without a process, without due diligence. That's what I want to say. Be the light. Be the light in all of you. Be the light for the holidays. Be the light for the rest of your life. Every single moment, every single day. It's a choice. It's almost, you can think of it in terms of almost like a light bulb. We have all have capacity and we all have the resources. Some of us choose to turn it on. Some of us choose not to. It's a choice. And we'll be back after these messages.
Okay, we've had a number of comments online regarding Dr. Shealy, Dr. Norm Shealy, and asking where he is. How is Dr. Shealy? Where is the original Dr. Shealy? Third week without Norm Shealy. What's going on? Where is Dr. Shealy? That is why I am listening.
I'm going to address your questions. And by the way, if you want to talk to Dr. Shealy, I do want to...
Fox News is brought to you by Fremont Hills Country Club.
I discovered a place.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, we had a small issue there. So let me address this very important question. And whoever is asking the question, I want to thank you for asking that question. Dr. Shealy, Dr. Norm Shealy you've noticed that he's not here for the third week on the radio. And I'm just going to basically get right to the bottom of the beast, so to speak, nature. He is not doing well. He's not feeling well. If he could be here, he would be here. The reason that he is not doing well, and this is the message that he asked me to share with everyone, when that's, again, and this is not something that he'd like to advertise or talk about. That's why I haven't mentioned this, because of his direct request not to talk about things that are not necessarily permanent. And if it's not permanent, and if he can come back, he will come back. So I just want you to know that, because he is as close to my heart as anything or anyone that I can think of. He's not only my mentor, he's my brother, he is my, he's my colleague, he's my teacher, and there's a lot more here that I can say. As a matter of fact, I do want to say one thing. If you want to talk to Dr. Shealy, and I say this half jokingly, but there is very little chance for a humor in the situation, is I did because to honor the man himself, the man who has founded holistic medicine and 50 years of holism, and the man who has entrusted me with continuing the tradition. I have personally taken the name Shealy-Sorin. My last name is Sorin, but the name Shealy is a essential part of the picture, because here's my intention. If Dr. Shealy, if Norm gets better and is able to come on the radio and come back in and do his thing, he absolutely will. And you know that. That man is 89 years of age, and his mind is as strong as ever, but his body is not in a great place right now. And so he's not able to be here. So if you'd like to speak with or see Dr. Shealy, again, stay tuned. If he's able to return, he will return. That's his promise. But if he is not able to return, I do want you to know that Dr. Shealy is here in spirit and in soul. And every single thing, every single message of love, of gratitude, and of information, holistic wellness and otherwise, is being continued at his request. And that's what I am here for. I'm here to continue the legacy, and I'm here to continue the process that he started. This is a 50-year anniversary of holism. 50 years that the man has begun. And that is not about to end. We're going in for another 50 years, 100,000 millennia. I don't give a we're going to get into a block situation on the radio, so I'm not going to say the word I'm going to say. There is no way in hell, can I say that word, that they're going to keep the truth away from. And there's no way in hell that the message that Dr. Shealy, including myself, I am Dr. Shealy as well, Shealy-Sorin, are not going to we're going to do what we need to do. So if you we're getting ready to come back in. I hope you understand the situation. Feel free to ask any questions, and I'll stay tuned for after the radio, after the YouTube, Facebook, and we'll continue talking, and I'll be happy to address any questions specifically if anybody has any questions. But I do believe you deserve to know the truth. All right. Wonderful. So for those who are actually on YouTube and Facebook, please stay tuned on if you're not, tune in, check us out, because I left, we only have 1 hour to do the radio show. So I utilized the time in between just to talk about the situation of what's been happening with Dr. Shealy. The topic of today's radio is be the light. Be the light, be the love, and that is what it's all about. And Dr. Shealy is sending his light and love as well. He's not able to be here with us. His physical health has has been compromised for the moment. He's still at home right now. If he was able to join us, he absolutely would. But he does send the message of, well, wellness, health, and holy days to everybody. And if you want to send a prayer, or if you want to support us in any way, or if you want to basically just wish Dr. Shealy a quick recovery, hopefully that will be possible, please do so. And the more people do so, again, that's the light, that's the energy, that's the love. So please keep that going. And in the meantime, I will be happy to address any question and anything that comes to mind, from physical, mental, emotional, and otherwise. So here's to the light. Call-in number is 417-447-1777. And I do want to mention, before we continue, some of mine and Dr. Shealy's favorite things here in Springfield, Missouri, Spring Valley, one of the best little health food stores that has a lot of great stuff, especially great service. And last but not least, they do carry all of our essential things that we utilize for health as well. Essentials, youth formula, multivitamins, vitamin C, bliss oils, magnesium lotion, all of our favorites, and many more. Last but not least, don't forget about Nature Bless Cherry Juice Concentrate. Wonderful, 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 especially if you're not eating your veggies, but even if you are, tastes great, great for cholesterol, for blood pressure, metabolic support. And 2 tablespoons or 1 ounce, that's plenty enough. You can do more if you like. It's delicious. Anyhow, those are the announcements. And last but not least, I do want to make the announcement as well. And we do have a New Year's sale that ends on the New Year's Eve at 11:59 p.m. So by then, if you actually check in and order the PEMF, pulse electromagnetic field device, and I'll talk more about that, the discount is auto-applied with $200 off, from $1,600 to $1,400. So I just wanted to make sure that I bring that to anyone who is interested in enhancing their health. PEMF is one of the most essential devices, by the way, that we utilize. And one of the things, actually, Dr. Shealy is using it 24/7 these days, and it's really doing a great job in supporting him. So he didn't want me to also mention this on the radio in terms of the tremendous value of that device, not only for health, but for just regeneration of the trillions of cells in the body. Then it also has a second mode, which puts the brain into gamma, the perfect place in the moment, feeling good. And we need that. We all need that. Last but not least, there is another mode for sleep rest, but the bottom line is great device, and it's on a special. And more important thing is light, love, and what you're willing to do and give yourself. And it doesn't have to cost anything expensive. You are the light. You are the love. You are the spirit. You're the soul. And all we got to do is come back to our true essential nature and be the light. Do we have any calls or questions? All right, now let's take the opportunity to talk about some of the questions, and we'll open up to everything that people have to say and ask. Okay, so let's, and if anybody wants to call in, we're live. All right. Yep, do we have a question or? Yeah, hi, can you hear me?
Yes. Listen, hi. I'm calling because the person you spoke about, Spring Valley Health Food Store.
Yes, ma'am.
And the gentleman who used to own it just passed away yesterday.
Oh,
and
God.
I don't know. I don't want to say his name.
Yes.
But Dr. Shealy would know who he is. Ken. His first name is Ken.
Understood. So, yeah, I know. I understand. Yeah.
And I think his funeral is tomorrow at St. Elizabeth Ann Seton at 10 o'clock, maybe. I don't know the details, but that's what I called to tell, because I know Dr. Shealy really was close with this man.
He's in our hearts. All
right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Yes. And I do want to remind, I do want to mention that from what we've seen, what we know, and we've seen a lot of people clinically, but we also had experiences of our own. Holism, spirit, mind, body. Spirit, soul, mind, body. If you remember that we're the spirit, we're the soul, and we get to go home, it doesn't make it easy. when the process happens, when the death, transition, or injury. So let's talk about things from the perspective. Let's just open up every topic and just talk about the uncomfortable: death, life, everything in between. Being a soul, being a spirit, being a light. If you realize, if we partake and if we allow that, it's not actually. It doesn't become as scary of an experience, and it literally becomes a transition. And I've talked to Dr. Shealy about life and death, and we talk with patients about that. We have many personal discussions. And one of the things that me and him talk about frequently is how neither of us have any fear of death. Not to say that we want to make it faster or we want to expedite it, but there's a lot more important things, such as life and living your full life. Do we have a question? Phone call. Yep. Hi.
Hello?
Yes, hi. Are you still there? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of went off on a little tangent there, but please, yeah. So please, what's in your mind? Yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of went off on a little tangent there, but please,
Am I on the air?
You are on the air.
I wanted to know, I have a question. I recently purchased your PEMF device.
Yes, ma'am. PEMF device.
Yeah, I purchased it for myself, my husband, and even my dog. We all have our issues.
Yes.
And my husband recently had a knee replacement, and the device arrived about after 7 weeks after his surgery, and I noted in instructions saying don't use it within 6 weeks. So anyways, thereafter, he used it, and he says he feels vibrations in his knee area when
Wonderful.
he uses it. That's a good thing?
That's wonderful. PEMF is a cellular regenerator. Let me give you a little personal story. When I had my personal injury around March, I basically crashed the vehicle at a high rate of speed. And long story short, I have platinum in my lumbar spine from first to fourth level, and the lumbar third was completely annihilated. So I was nearly paralyzed. So I actually started early. Right immediately after I had the surgery, I put the PEMF on. And by the way, there is no contraindication to the PEMF unless there is an implanted pacemaker or something with a battery. That's the distinction. So I just wanted you to know that you could have used it earlier, but it's not too late to use it at any given time. And I'm glad you got those. So basically what happens is the PEMF will help to regenerate every single cell and the tissue and so on and so forth. And what I'm hearing is a wonderful thing. By the way, dogs are, well, they're the best judges of what works and what doesn't, because guess what? There's no placebo effect there. If they feel good on something, they will go there. One of my dogs, we have two dogs, and we had two dogs, and one of them passed. Again, just within recently. It's just one of those seasons. It's just a terrible, in one of those years, I guess. Before, for several months before, was struggling terribly with arthritis, with all kinds of aches and pains. It's German Shepherds. I mean, they're kind of predisposed to hip issues. But she would basically come and sit on the PEMF device when we left it out by accident, and then we just figured we're gonna leave it in her place. She just loves it, and she did great with that. I mean, she would be able to get up and walk around better, and of course, it didn't fix it ultimately, but it made the transition in the life bearable. And but yes, go ahead. You were saying?
Yeah. Speaking of that too, the hip. I have. Well, according to my OBGYN, I'm a hair away from full-blown osteoporosis in my left hip. So I want to know, and that's one of the reasons I bought it. Of course, I think I have bone issues throughout my body. Mm-hmm. But for the hip, do I need to put the device directly on the hip? Is that the better thing to do? Or because it says basically, from what I've seen, you just say, put it on your head.
That's one of the ways, especially with any kind of stress, anxiety, depression, and stress is everywhere. 2 hours a day is plenty enough, although you can wear 24/7. I mean, it just really puts your brain in a good place. The first mode, the sweep mode, is the one that does everything: cellular regeneration, all the functions basically. You put it right on the area that is affected. So if it's a hip, you put it right there. But it does work throughout the whole body. It's just stronger exactly where you apply it.
Okay. And for someone like me who's almost has osteosporosis,
Mm-hmm.
how long if I use it for 2 hours a day right on my hip,
Mm-hmm.
how long, do you have any idea, like how long it would take to see an improvement in that area, and when maybe I should go get another
study?
If I should get a bone scan, to see my progress?
1 year would be recommended. Now, you could see difference, distinction within 6 months. But there's other things that you want to be doing with the osteoporosis, and we do not recommend, neither Dr. Shealy nor myself are fans of the osteoporosis drugs, such as Fosamax or otherwise, that make the bone stronger but brittle. So when it breaks, it shatters.
I rejected those about over a decade ago, and my doctor was trying to give them to me, and I told her, no, as far as I was concerned, it's rat poison, and I'm not going to take it.
God bless you, and you're 100% correct. Common sense. The other things you want to be doing, if you're not, is make sure you're on a good multivitamin or something like Essentials, Dr. Shealy Essentials. There is also, good vitamin C, youth formula, 4 per day. If your weight is over 135, it's 4 per day. If it's less than that, it's 2 per day. But then there's also, for your specifically importance, magnesium lotion. And you can put it directly over the hip, or you can put it anywhere on the skin, or spray magnesium chloride. That not only raises DHEA, but it also helps the bone structure. That's
okay.
Now, if the other stuff is boron, BORON. I wrote an article for one of the local medical societies. Boron is anything but boring. They had a wellness edition, and it was a great article outlining how boron is actually, it's great for the hormones, it's great for the bones, it's great for a number of things, and that would be between 9 and 12 milligrams a day. And I think other than that, I think I mentioned vitamin D3, right? Those are the good foundations to start off. And if you actually have, or you can purchase, there is something called, it's a vibration plate. Different things used to be over several $1,000, very expensive. Now it's several $100s. Just look up a vibration plate. It goes various frequencies, and you just hold on to the rail, and it does the work. But if you put your body in various positions, for 30, 40 seconds, you can bend the knees a little bit, or so. Just it's instructions comes with it. In general, it can actually help you form bone and muscle mass in itself.
Oh, okay. I've seen those. And my last question is, do you recommend any? I don't know if you have it on your website, but anything like instructional or helpful regarding using the PEMF, like for myself, various ailments, and for my dog, because I've been having trouble like getting anything from the internet, like how how it relates to animals.
Oh, of course. So let me talk about the animals. I'm so glad you asked, because this is I'm starting to believe that animals are probably more appreciative of PEMF than most people are. Why? The reason being, people are complicated. We have all sorts of expectations. We start things, we stop things, but animals, they know where to go. If it feels good, they do it. And it's interesting how the cellular support and the structure in animals, and again, I don't have the clinical research. I haven't done research on dogs and cats and things like that, but we have so many positive feedback and so many testimonials about the pets. I'm even thinking of having a page on animals, basically, on how the PEMF people have noticed significant changes. Every living being, animals, pets, cells are very similar in many ways, to how they function and what they need to humans. And that's exactly how the PEMF works. So basically, just for the pet, just put it in place, and most of them will actually want to go there. The bottom line, you're working on recharging, optimizing the trillions of building blocks of your body, the cellular structure. So that's what it comes down to. Now, does it have other effects, including gamma for the brain and delta to help relax the nervous system with the pain, with anxiety? Yes, it can do a lot of things, but the bottom line is cellular regeneration. I hope that made a little sense.
Absolutely. Now, would you use the gamma for a dog? Because I've only been using, the Shealy.
Yeah, the sweep. Now that's an
Yeah.
interesting. That would be a good experiment. And please get back to me next week and tell me, how the dog reacted to gamma. In my infinite wisdom, I didn't think of putting the gamma on for our dog. I just kept it on the sweep. But I'm gonna try it with my other dogs. I'm
Okay.
gonna, yeah. I'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah, I'd appreciate any studies you have on dogs because, they're a big part of our family, and I'm into holistic everything, and I was really thankful for your device for my entire family, so thank you.
And
We really appreciate it.
Blessings. I mean, pets are part of our family more than anything else. Yeah.
Yes, they are. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your help.
Absolutely. And thank you so much for all you do. And Merry Christmas just passed, and Happy New Year, and holy days for every single day of our lives. Amen.
Thank you so much. Amen.
Do we have any other questions or calls, or I just keep talking, I guess?
We have a question online. A listener says, "What is the best thing for shingles? My brother-in-law had it pop up this past weekend, but is in no pain."
Shingles. It's basically when immune system is compromised, stress, other factors. When the body is not at their best, you can have recurrence, you can have a new onset, you can have all sorts of things. One of the best things that we've noticed, especially if you live right near Springfield or you can come in for a high dose vitamin C intravenous and ozone, we have actually resolved a lot of the terrible episodes and symptoms with patients with shingles that were basically in almost end stages, but also works a lot faster and better if you can catch it early. That's one. The next thing is the immune system. Always make sure you maintain the immune system. And how to do so? Lifestyle. In other words, nutrition, activity, movement, sleep, body mass index. If you don't have that, you either have it or you don't. If you don't have it, please do it. And if you have to ask yourself if you're worth it, my answer is yes. Yes, you are. But that's the answer you have to answer for yourself, because I cannot, again, you can lead the horse to water, you can't make it drink. Did I address the question? Yeah. Anything else out there?
We had a listener ask about how many hours a day for an animal for the PEMF.
I can tell you that my dog was on it 24/7, other than the bathroom. I didn't want him to poop in the ring. That we just took him out. But other than that, but they'll know what they need. If they'll just come and sit, and then when they had enough, they get up. That's the beautiful thing about animals. Humans, here's the beautiful thing about being the light. When you're light, is part of it is awareness. So know yourself, know thyself, and trust thyself. Trust your intuition, trust your heart, trust your gut. There's a minimum amount of time of several hours, but you can literally use the device, for example, PMF, up to 24/7. But again, you have to really be in tune with your body, with your mind. And when you are, your body will and your mind will tell you where you are, what you need, and how you need to get there. And if you have any questions, of course, there's the holistic practice that at Shealy-Sorin Wellness Institute.
We had someone ask what the contact information.
Contact information for Shealy-Sorin Wellness Institute, which is basically a continuation and living legacy. And Dr. Shealy is still working clinically to some degree, and including consultations and a few things. He's available, of course. The contact is at 417-351-5221, 417-351-5221, and it's in Springfield, Missouri, 2840 East Chestnut Expressway. There is a website, realholisticdoc.com. We have seen a surge of volume lately, but I love that, because I think what's happening is that people are waking up, realizing that the conventional system is not working. And as much as I hate to see the system fail, it's inevitable. It's not going anywhere positive. It's the whole design, the whole system is meant for illness and acute care. When it comes to chronic, it just becomes a pharmaceutical industry profit, literally. Now, I'm not saying there's not a utilization for certain things. There's always a benefit for something, but you have to put the risk and the benefit ratios and look at the whole big picture. Do we have a question or we have a call? Okay. Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Good. Can you take the time to explain why you suggest using the PEMF for 24/7? Like how that is a better increase than just using it maybe a few hours per day?
Of course. Now the research that we've done, we couldn't keep people in our practice, so in the research setting facility 24/7. Otherwise, we would have done that research happily. So the research that we have, and this is what we speak about, because we don't make any statements that is not supported by actual findings, research. So something that would be reproducible and correct, so to speak. The 2 hours is what we did in terms of the showing effectiveness and proof. Doesn't mean that beyond the 2 hours, there's no benefit. Now, personal example is when I had my injury to the back after my car accident, including the metal and, including the metal and surgical and everything else, I used PEMF 24/7, and the way that I knew that would work, and this is where you get to decide for yourself what you need is, when I wore the device, I felt better. When I didn't have the device, I felt worse. One day I didn't have it post-surgical, and I was in excruciating pain. Now, I was using biogenics to control the pain, including various exercises for biofeedback of the body, the mind, and I did okay. But when I got the device back, it became so much easier. So I used it 24/7. There is no harm. It's a question of personal, experiential, and what works for you. Minimum several hours a day. That's why we say that. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. And I read one of your articles, and it explained how the cells open up.
Yes.
Can you explain that a little more in depth?
You're dealing with we're working with a PEMF. The concept is supporting the cell, supporting the ATP, supporting the energy production, all the entire machinery, sodium, potassium pump, the entire functioning of what makes us who we are. And we do have to go to, the show is basically, wow, that goes fast. Show is over. Thank you for calling us in. Let's touch base again next week. I wish we had a little more time, but I appreciate you. And, Happy New Year and all the best.
The views expressed on this show are those of the host, guests, and callers, and not those of radio station KICK, Vision Communications Incorporated, its management, or advertisers. Vision Communications Incorporated is not responsible for the validity or accuracy of information presented on this program.
The Pledge of Allegiance is brought to you by Missouri Place Sets. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Missouri Playsets only offers the best. We use the finest cedar on our playsets to prevent rotting and offer lifetime warranties. Visit us on Republic Road or at MissouriPlaysets.com.
KICK is your home. Big radio. KICK Springfield, K222CT.
That might be needed or desired. And that would be at 417-351-5221. We are in Springfield, Missouri. If you're local, feel free to just drop in, come in, whatever, however you can get in there. 2840 East Chestnut Expressway, Springfield, Missouri. Do we have any other online statements and otherwise?
No, just prayers for Dr. Norm and blessings. Lots of people wishing you Happy New Year. And
Thank you.
Lots of people just saying that they're going to be praying for Dr. Norm and blessings.
Yes, and I do want to express something that Dr. Shealy wanted me to share. Again, this is not something that we talk about on a typical program because of the censorship and all of the other issues related to the freedom of speech and otherwise, which hopefully there's still a freedom of speech. But he did want to warn people about the concerns of something called shedding. Shedding is what happens when a person, for example, who's had a certain injectable treatment, I'm not going to say what that is again, just for, well, people get shut down for lesser things than that. And it is a possibility, or rather, Dr. Shealy does believe and is concerned that he was exposed to a friend who has had an injection and is possibly shedding. And that is a possible issue of what's going on here with him. I hope he will recover. I hope he'll do all right. But it's been a tough journey. And I'm going to say, I appreciate and I thank you for all of your support for Dr. Shealy, for the man who has founded and created the concept of holism here in this country and who is struggling a little bit here. So your prayers, your hope, your for recovery, please send them in. I would love to see him here on the radio here with me if he's able to physically, but he is doing what he can. He's still working on research projects and lots of other fun, good things. But he does need our support, our help. And I'm asking everyone to give your energy, give your light, give your love to the man who has given everything that he has, everything that he knows, everything that he is. And I'm no exception. I'm going to continue to do the same to the humanity, to the concept of holism, spirit, soul, mind, body, and to the understanding of who we are and to shining, to being the light that we are, the light, the love. And that's the important part. Anything else out there, or? Okay. A little bit of sadness, a little bit of happiness, a little bit of celebration, but ultimately take care of yourself. Everything is health, and health is everything. And when we talk about health, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, and all around. Take care. Blessings. We'll see you next week. Take care.